I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Today I'm going to be talking about blacksmith shop. Well, actually, blacksmith tools. In particular, the blacksmith vise. This post vise that I have here in the shop, I bought it about 20 years ago. I've been welding since I was about 11, and I wanted to learn all facets of welding, but one of the things that I could just never get was hammer welding. I tried acetylene torches and propane torches and all different kinds of ways to heat the material and just couldn't get it to work. And I thought, I need to have somebody show me how to do it. Well, back in 1996, Tiller's International was having a class on blacksmithing, and I thought, perfect. So I signed up for the class. After the class, I was fascinated and I was hooked. I'd learned how to hammer weld, and I'd also learned how to form steel and draw and do all the things that basic blacksmith does. So I decided that since I had a shop at home, I wanted to start building a blacksmith shop addition to it. So I started gathering tools. At the same time, I was interested in doing repairs on old tractors. I had an International B that I had bought, and I wanted to do some repairs to it. It needed some parts. So I was going around from tractor show to tractor show at the flea markets, because the swap meets and flea markets and tractor shows are the best place to find things. They also have tools. One day as I was walking onto the grounds at Jones, Michigan for their tractor show, I saw this leaning against the fence. All there was the back post, the front jaw, and the screw. The clamps and spring and everything else weren't there. But I thought, that's close enough, I can make the rest of it. So I bought it. The guy sold it to me for $5. He said he'd been carrying it around from show to show and was tired of doing it, so he wanted me to take it off his hands. I was happy to. I brought it home, made a bench mount, put a spring on it about 5 years later, and I've been very happy with it. It's a 4-inch vise. In other words, it has jaws that are 4 1/8 inch wide. And I was lucky when I got this one because the screw is in good shape. I think this one had been treated rather gently, because most of them that I find have got a lot more damage than this. Having the right tools on hand is not always a situation where you just magically have them appear. Sometimes it requires planning and forethought. Sometimes you just get lucky. I was at one of the places that I like to frequent and noticed that this thing was sitting on the floor. It was marked $140. $140 is an awful lot for a vise. That's full retail. And when I opened up the screw on this one, I noticed that the screw was worn. And that's a red flag for a vise. When the screw's worn, that means you've got to do something with it, because it's not going to last very long if you use it very hard. But whipped out my handy dandy pocket rule, and it was a 5-inch vise. And as you just saw, my other one is a 4-inch vise. Now, it's not just the width of the jaws. This is a lot heavier. This is an industrial style vise. This is something that a real blacksmith would use, not some hobbyist. It's not a farm vise. This is a blacksmithing vise. Good, solid, heavy duty. It has a screw that's 1.25 inches in diameter and pretty solid. But that screw said, "No, I'm not going to get this." When I went back about a week later, they had a sign on the booth, 50% off. Looks like the guy was trying to close down for winter because antique sales don't go so well in wintertime. People don't get out and drive around as much. 50% off put it down in the $70 range. And for $70, the vise thread is still there. It's worn, but it's still there. I thought, I can make this work. So at 70 bucks I bought it. I brought it home, and now I have a 5-inch vise. But the screw thread is pretty bad. The thread on the shaft is worn, but the thread in the nut is worn really bad. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to replace the thread in that nut. So now I have the question in my mind of how I'm going to go about doing that. So that's what we're going to be working on in this video series, is repairing the nut on this vise. It's a big heavy vise. I don't know who it's made by. I did some digging on the outside surface and I can't find any stamp numbers or names engraved in it. Looks like there's a number 5 or something stamped into the front, but it's pretty well worn and it's hard to read. So I'll clean that up a little bit more and see if I can't get some more information on it. There were a lot of blacksmithing vices made. Some were made by well-known manufacturers, some were made in the local town where the guy needed one. He might have just made one himself. So it's hard to say who exactly made the vise, but it's going to be an interesting sideline to see who it is. So now I'm going to take the thread and the nut out of this vise and see what I've got. We'll take it down to the basement shop. It's a lot warmer down there. It's getting towards fall. It's about 40 degrees outside. I'm warm enough in this heavy shirt, but I don't really want to work with gloves all day.